第一步放箭已经完成了。钻过去。你看他们。
你把它从这里塞进去，搭配上。大了，帮你吗？来，你把这个先塞到里头。你看，要先塞吧。
妈妈没有。
还挺好的。
It could be sweet. Dare to honestly see living at ease. Not ego and greed. Is it worth feeling right over a piece we're upside down? Fighting so blind, blogging on how it could be. If we lived in the power of now, it could be sweet. If we lived in the power of now, it could be.
那哪个可以吃啊？你想吃哪个？
My heart
哎，饭。